it's somewhat like the first one. You hit and move, right? You hit and move, and that's what I did. You know, I hit, I move, hit, move, hit, move, keep going until everybody's laying down. They do the same thing with the percussion bombs, with the mace. People are throwing up. It's surreal, you know, it's a little bit dreamlike too. You know, kind of the same MO, you know, after you do your thing, right, we're at the front of the dorm. I look to my left, and I swear there's a percussion bomb right here. Pick it up, you throw it to the back. You don't want it to blow up in your face. Boom, throw it back. But I do see Lep. He has like what looks to be very small puncture wound, but he looks to be having a seizure, right? And he starts kind of convulsing. This is the main violent part of this ride that's already done, right? Now we're on the back end of it. But he's convulsing, and I'm looking at him, I'm like, fuck. And sheriffs come in like with the riot gear, they drag him out. Don't know what happened to him. I don't think that. I think he was just having a seizure. That's what I think may have happened. But he definitely had small puncture wounds. We do the same thing. We all go to the restrooms. Some guys are still, don't know how to handle the situation. Same thing. Some dudes are terrified, right, and rightfully so. And it's not to say that I wasn't terrified. It's just, like I said, in that time, I couldn't emotionally process that way. It was more like just very matter of fact. And yeah, that was right number two. Since we're short on time, and I do want to try and weave this together, I'll just jump to kind of a little bit more into prison. The LA County Jail was like that consistently. The violence was consistent. A lot of scuffles, a lot of crazy shit. That's what the LA County Jail is, and the things I shared are not even the more gruesome parts of it. And maybe we can talk about that on another day. But I'm in the county jail, and I'm going to my court hearings. My sisters are seeing me separate times with different shiners, right? They're crying in the back, and rightfully so. Like, fuck, they're thinking that I'm going through it in there because I am. This is just what they don't understand, that this is part of it. This is a part of it. This is just a part of what I have to go through. And when I was in jail, I knew that I was supposed to be there. There was something deep inside of me when I was that initial processing time. There was something deep inside of me that was like, you need to go through this. Like I was so lost. Like it was some sort of reset for me that didn't happen in that moment or even right when I got out, but it was a part of it. So the LA County Jail is super, super cracking. And it's also like decrepit, it's a humanitarian disaster. I've heard people describe it as, and it is, with the overcrowdedness, the filth, the violence that us inmates, execute on each other.
Would you say that's the most racist place in America?
The LA County Jail?
Yeah.
Prison's California prison in general, yeah.
That's what I mean, the whole system in itself. I tell people, California, you think of it being, all liberated.
This beautiful blue state.
Yeah, but inside the prison system, I would say more racial gangs and affiliations have been created out of California prison systems than any other prison system in the country.
Yeah, and it's by us too. It's by the inmates. Racism is real, but it's on so many levels. Where do you want to start? Do you want to talk about the laws and the systemic racism? Do you want to talk about the racism against our own people? Do you want to start about the racism? Like, where do you want to? It exists. And I think it exists on deeper levels that people don't want to admit. Beyond that, you know, I didn't think it existed until I experienced it, though. I was like, shit, right? And I get why people who haven't experienced it don't think it exists because they haven't confronted that, but it's definitely there in different forms. You know, so the county jail, you know, at a certain point, I'm like, I'm ready to send me upstate, because what I'm hearing in the county jail is like, look, prison is way better than this. This is going to be way more LA County Jail is way more active than prison. Like they're like, when you get to prison, there's more structure, there's more. You get a TV, you can do your time. This is how bad the LA County Jail is, that, you know, this is how other people are talking about, you know, prison. But me, I just like to get things over with as fast as I can. Like, you know, let's get this show on the road. And, you know, I took my plea deal, which was 5 years with, I had to plead guilty to like 8 felony strikes so that I can't fuck up again, right? Like, you know, it's something that really doesn't set you up for success, I would say. But like, I did do those violent crimes, and those strikes were a deterrent for me when I got out, to at least be very aware of how I'm moving, whether I decide to move a certain way or not. Took my deal. Now I got to do this whole kind of thing I did in the LA County Jail, right, to build up a reputation, because a reputation will protect you. A reputation does build even a community for you with people you've never even met. It's good to be known in good ways. In prison, I'm thinking that, you know, that it's enough LA County Jail reputation that it can come with me here too, right? And that's kind of true. But for me, right, specifically, I think the way things just worked out for me, I do think I just had a little bit of God's grace, for sure, you know. So I go to the level 3 prison yard. Level 3, that's a quote-unquote maximum security prison yard as well. And I should have been on a level 2 or level 1, but just my jacket in the LA County Jail boosted my points all the way up. So I go to the level 3 max yard, and those points were very close to go to the 4 yard. So after the riot on the 3 yard, that's how I got sent to the 4 yard. So I hit the 3 yard. They keep you in, segregation until they throw you on the yard. I believe it's a D yard. I went to D yard in Centinela maximum security prison. I'm in the cell, and it's that quiet. It's that quiet I was talking about, where you just feel that, oh, something's going on, right? And it's serious. So fortunately, I have a homie from my city in there named Greeny from 2nd Street. Greeny, he comes to the window. He's like, these are strangers getting to know each other, right? And he's like, and we're banging the same hood, right?
Yeah.
He's like, what's up, guy? I'm like, what's up? You do the exchange.
Yeah.
He gets on the phone, right, to verify. You want to know who's there with you.
Yeah.
So I don't know who he talked to on the phone. But he came back. He was like, oh, yeah, Cuz said you're good. Yeah, well, what's good? Do you need anything, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, God, right?
Yeah,
I'm not trying, right?
Yeah.
So that made that seamless. And, it was all love with Greeny. But we're in a lockdown state on that 3 yard. All movements are racially segregated, meaning you're not going to have a movement with blacks or Mexicans because there's violence may break out. So Greeny comes to my cell door, and on another time, he was the MAC representative there. So that's why he's actually able to talk through to the cellmates or whatever. And he lets me know what's going on. He's like, hey, it's cracking right now. He's like, it's on site, so that's that. Be outside. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, I was going to be outside anyway. Thanks for letting me know. Shit. So, after that, we're still on lockdown. The movements are still restricted. They moved me from that cell on the same yard to a basketball dorm. So what this dorm is, it used to be a basketball gym, but due to overcrowdedness, it is now housing inmates. So they put me in there. The only races that are in there are whites, others, and blacks, because it's segregated right now, because it's going to go down. Like, everybody knows it's going to go down. So I was also fortunate that when I went in there, I had a dude who knew me from the streets. His name was Esborn. He was from 60s. People have to vouch for you at the end of the day. And this is because I got into it with somebody in there. And right, so part of it is, I was always quick to settle a situation with violence. Like, it's not affecting me that way, how it's affecting somebody else. But at the end of the day, people will stab the shit out of you in there. At the end of the day, like, you should be more careful, and I was blessed to have, in the right moments, dudes who vouched for me and dudes who knew me. And that helped me stay alive. So I go into this dorm. It's about to go down on the yard, right? Whenever they let us out and they try to, program, it's going to go down. This is a given. But there's a lead up to that as well. And this is what I liked about running with the blacks. That the leadership, to me, from my perspective, is more spatial. There's more autonomy. There's more room for you to grow as an individual in there than there is, I believe, in other cars. Running with the blacks in prison, there is what I felt to be an encouragement to be your own man. An encouragement to stand up for what you believe in. And the right ones will, like I said, ride with you. I'm not sure if that's the same on different cars, because the structure is more hierarchical. It's a little bit more rigid. Versus with the blacks, it's like, hey, if I have an issue with the shot caller, I have support to go settle an issue. And people respect that in that, at least in my car. So I felt because of that, I was able to grow into my own in there. So I go into this dorm. The issue is, okay, for this riot, the first building they're going to release is, guess what building? The dorm that they just sent me to. And they're going to do a limited release of the other buildings. So I could have been in any other building, right? And I could have missed this riot. And it may sound like a bad thing that I'm involved in this riot, but for my own reputation in the prison system, not the county system, it actually helps in my favor to be involved in that in its own way. I'm in the dorm. Now you have the shot callers in there talking about, okay, well, we find out we're going to be the first ones released. Now you have people talking, well, should we do it? Should we wait? Why don't we just program? Right? And the issue for this riot, though, was a more serious one. 2 black shot callers on another yard had got stabbed and medevaced out of the prison, like in helicopters, hospitalized. in a gruesome way. And I'm not sure if one of them survived or not. I don't know to this day, but that was the primary issue, that something happened on another prison, on another yard, that is affecting multiple yards now. But then now when it comes to our yard, then the politics get rolling. Well, are we gonna ride, or what's the issue gonna be? And me, I'm more of a yes guy. I'm like, hey, this is what it is, this is what it is. It's not, I'm not gonna put too much more thought into it. But the people who dissent, it's because they want food, right? Store, family visits is a big thing. But at the end of the day, even I knew, I'm like, look, 2 guys got medevaced out the yard. Like, I don't know what's going on, but this is a little bit more important than you getting your store right now for what's happening. And in those talks, one of the dudes who took a leadership role, there's a real OG shot caller from Insane. Loved him, a real dude. But another dude who also I became good friends with was named G-Man from Nuthood Watts. And he was like, nah, fuck that. There is no discussing this. You know, when they let us out, we're gonna do our thing. So I'm like, okay, shit. All right. And Centinela State Prison is in the Imperial Valley of California, which is the Sonoran Desert. This is summertime. The heat is blistering. Over 100 degrees average, right? It's hot as fuck over there. And I remember the day of the riot. We all know it's gonna happen at this point. There is no ifs. Like, you go out, this is what's gonna happen. Some people can stay in, right? Some people do stay in. Some people go out and they go to the corners somewhere. I remember sitting on my bunk, and I wouldn't say I have any friends in there, you know? I don't really know anybody in there. This is a full-blown racial riot. Blacks versus Hispanics. Like I said, I had those big thoughts, like, you know, and what's this really about? Am I a traitor? To, you know, because my mom's like, I'm Mexican, right? And I'm sitting there, and all that racial shit and all that racist bullshit that's prevalent in California, especially in the prison system. Like, to me, this isn't about that. This isn't about me fighting against my own people. This is about me standing up for what I believe in. This is about my friendships, even though I don't have any friends in here. This is about dignity in a real way. And sometimes you got to fight for those things. You know, so I had that thought process, and I was like, you know, someone can use my race against me for their own good and use it for control. But they don't have that token on me. You know, I'm my own person. So, and then of course I think about my sisters. You know, if I'm gonna have a last thought, right? I don't know what's gonna happen out there. I've never been in a fucking level 3 maximum security prison riot. Shit. What's gonna happen? I think about my sisters, you know, so I try and have like good thoughts too. Like, damn, you know, I'm glad I had them in my life. Now they start opening the door and releasing. I'm still on my bunk. They start, you know, I'm thinking these thoughts. I'm like, fuck, they got the door open. They're letting motherfuckers out right now. Right? Shit. So I get up. You know, I got a do-rag on just for identification, just so that when we're out there hitting and moving, at least you can see, right? you'll move to the next, right? And we keep going. And, you know, I get up, I go on the line, letting us out. I remember going out, and it was dreamlike as well. First thing I feel is that blistering heat, like it hits you in the face. I feel that like that dry wind too. The sun is beaming, like it's shining so bright, it's beautiful. I would even say it's beautiful in that day. And it's just shining on me, and I'm like, damn, like, fuck, this is crazy, right? I'm walking out, and I don't got any homies with me. Like everyone, I missed that train, right, a little bit, kind of to hey, we're gonna go do this together, right? You know, you can have your own little groups to go do your thing, and I didn't have a group. So I go out, that kind of picturesque moment as I walk out of the dormitory. And then on the distance, like I'm gonna say 80 yards away, I just see the like sand in the air, right? Bunch of sand. I'm like, oh, okay, that's where it's at. So I run that way. I run to the action. And as I run to it, you know, it's still dreamlike, but you just hit and move. I run to it, do the same thing, hit, move, hit, move, hit, move. Out the corner of my eye, you know, I see some gruesome things, you know, no question. Keep on hitting and moving, hitting and moving. And then eventually it's just me and this other guy, and I'm somewhat chasing him down. And he's running from me. And I'm laser focused, right? I'm kind of laser focused on him. And he gets down. He lays down. And then I'm looking around, and I see the homie Greeny. He's laying down. And he's looking at me. And he says, "Get the fuck down." I hear like a through the air, right? And you know how when somebody looks at you and you can feel that they're serious, like their whole face changes, and it kind of wakes you up a little bit. So Greeny, I look at Greeny again. He's like, "They're gonna," and he tells me, he goes, "They're gonna shoot you. Get the fuck down." And then when he said that, I look, boom. So when I come to full senses, I look and everybody's laying down. I look around. The dude I was chasing down, he's laying down. He's looking at me like I'm crazy for good reason, right? And I lay down. You know, they shot the M4 rifle twice. M4 rifle has 5.56 NATO rounds. That hits you, you're gonna die. So I get down. That fucking pavement is hot as fuck near that. There's a basketball court right there. I kind of bear crawl a little bit to the other side, and I'll never forget this too. There's just blood all over I had gloves on. There's blood all over my gloves. Blood all over my shirt. And I remember, laying down, and people are throwing their knives too. I'll never forget this visual. I just see something glimmering in the air. It's the deck. So I take off my shirt, take off my gloves, throw all that. And Bam from Insane, he's on one knee, right? So everybody's prone, but he's on just one knee, right, like this, looking towards the other group, because we don't know if people are going to get up again. I doubt it, right, because of the live rounds, but you don't know. So I bear crawl it to Bam, and I get on one knee right by him. And it's just me and him, both of us on one knee. Everyone else is prone. But that was the end of that riot. You know, same thing. Whoever was hurt is going paramedics come, right? People get put in the paramedic, whatever they call it, car, van. Everyone else, we got sent to the chow hall. After that, you go to the hole for a couple months. I was in the hole for 3 months. After the hole, that's how I got to the level 4 yard, with only probably like 2.5 years left. You know, I know we're short on time, so level 4 yard is very, very different. But, you know, a big part of my story isn't just prison or the abuse I experienced at home. I think the biggest part of my story is finding a way to live a new and better life. When I got out of prison, I went back to LA. I was on parole for 2 years in LA. I had to leave because it's just the same environment. I lived with my dad. I got to know my dad after that. I had never had a relationship with him. So I guess in a weird way, he did come back, right? Just later on in life. And that time with my dad opened up a place in my heart to forgive him. Because I had blamed him for a lot of my own decisions. And my mom, I had forgiven her a long time ago because, like I said, I had a front row seat to all the work she put in. For my dad, not so much. But him opening up his home to me and me getting to see that even though he's flawed and his love for me is flawed, it's still love, and I accept that. And I'm not blaming him for my decisions anymore. But after that, you know, I still had to deal with my own shit, right? Like, I forgave my mom, my dad, what about me now? And I didn't know how to forgive myself. So I just kind of partied it away. You know, one of the things somebody told me when I left the 4 yard was like, hey, when you go home, be happy for us. And when the homie told me that, I was like, it didn't make sense to me, right? But the way that I tried to be happy was partying. Okay, let me party, let me fuck around with girls, let me do that on behalf of all the homies who can't, right? And then, but it was empty. And eventually that door came knocking. Like, I got into the deepest depression I've ever experienced. I had suicidal thoughts. I thought I was worthless. I woke up one day and I was like, fuck, I'm just an ex-con. Nobody cares about all this shit. Nobody cares about who you were in the streets. Nobody gives a fuck about what you did in prison. You're just a criminal. And I remember thinking that. And it just broke me down. And, you know, luckily I had a moment with God and He saved my life. So yeah, we could stop there.
Man, it's powerful stuff, man. I definitely want to have you back to get the rest of your story, man.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the time's gonna fly by so fast, man. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of people with a lot of questions, a lot of comments, and a lot of feedback. But we want to definitely have you back, man. Appreciate you taking the time to come out here to see us and to share your story. That's one of the most powerful stories we've had in a long time, and I think a lot of people are going to be very moved by what you have to share.
Thanks.
I appreciate it. What's your social media, man?
Yeah, you could find me everywhere at The Real Jose Lugo. So that's just, anywhere on that.
And we'll have the link in the description for your social media too, and we will definitely have a way for people to get in touch with you and follow up, man.
Thanks.
Hey, Big Kirk 916, fresh out.